So we all, or most of us, know the song The 12 Days of Christmas, a holiday classic for centuries. But did you ever think about how much it would actually cost to buy your true love all those gifts? Well, Scott Peterson did that thinking on our behalf, and he's joining us now. So 5 golden rings, that's my guess for the most expensive on the list.
Oh my gosh, nowhere close. You know, and the reason why is because services are more expensive than goods. So goods are still sort of, but it's the services. I mean, I don't want to give anything away right now, but when there's facilitating, lords of leaping, or maids of milking, those are services, and those cost more money. But to get to the chase here, like to itemize everything on this list, it costs $209,000. That's a U.S. price. And when you consider like everything comes over all those 12 times, that equals about 364 gifts. And I'll answer more questions later, but let's get right to some of the things I found interesting.
Deep dive here,
We're doing a very deep dive. So excluding services, this list would only be $36,000, and that's with the golden rings included there. But let's get right to it with this chart, for example. $209,000. There we are at the upper end of it, and you can see this is sort of inflationary. This keeps track of a lot of different things like graphs do. There's a big MAC index out there, so this keeps track of services and goods. And you can see that the low during the pandemic, it was only $66,000, so it's well up over triple that amount. Now let's get some of the items within here, because when you dig into this, Chris, there's a lot of birds. There's a lot of birds in here. A partridge, for example, just to get things warmed up, $370. That's up 16% over this time last year. But you multiply that by 12, you're going to get this list. And further on, you got a turtle dove. 2 turtle doves, that's $750, and it goes on from there. We got French hens, we got calling birds, we got geese a-laying. Those add up too. 5 golden rings, the guess here, $1,245. That's pretty much no change from this time last year. No inflation on that whatsoever. But you get into the 7 swans a-swimming, $13,125, and you multiply that by a bunch of times. That's where you're getting a phenomenal amount of money. That 200. And I got a question for you now.
Yes.
What do you, well, okay, so it's not the golden rings. What do you think is the most expensive?
I'm going to guess the Piper's Piping, because there's a whole lot of them?
Close. Oh, okay. Close. It's the 10 lords of leaping.
Aha.
$15,500. That's up 7.2% from this time last year. And you multiply that by how many times they appear.
Right.
So that really adds up.
You got to catch them first.
You got to catch, and that's part of the service cost.
I think this is my favorite segment of the morning, and my favorite part is you delivering it with the earnest nature that you do, even GDP numbers.
Thank you. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Thank you, Scott. And now let's go over to Chris. Hey, Chris, you got some ideas there, I think, for gifts. I don't know if any of that was within your budget or not.
I'm going to have to refinance my mortgage. I'm going to have to rethink my priorities, Chris.
Yeah, don't get those lords of leaping. They sound particularly expensive. Maybe stick with the turtle doves.
That sounds like some sound financial advice to me. All right, well, take a